Let's now talk Google hardware. So the first 90 minutes of Google's presentation were data, data, data. Look how much data we have. The last 30 minutes were, by the way, we can make really helpful devices.
That can collect that data.
That can collect that data.
Eventually.
All of the devices that they announced today are on the horizon to varying capacities. So we'll talk through each of them, but I also just want to address how far away these things are. So we got Pixel 6a.
Yep.
We got Pixel Buds Pro.
Yep.
Those two things are the up next, but they're also not coming till like mid-July.
July 21st is pre-order.
July 21st is pre-order.
Today, in like August.
For reference, as we listen, is May 11th as we record this. So that's two months away.
Yeah.
All right, fine. But they're the next up. Yeah. Then we have Pixel 7 and 7 Pro already being unveiled and announced their existence, and a Pixel Watch, all of which are coming in fall. Typically, there's an October event, so we can assume those things are 6 months away.
Yeah.
Then Rick also mentioned that there is going to be, and he even showed it, so the design's locked, I guess, a 2023 Pixel tablet. So sometime next year, don't know, early, late, it's fall of next year, I don't know, whatever, but there's going to be a tablet. So they're announcing all these things way in advance. Yeah. Now, this is another one of the things we talk about in Sony land, where we're like, all right, they announced the thing in like February, and it comes out in October, and you're like, what happened between February and October where you couldn't keep the hype train going and everyone forgot about the phone? My theory is that Google knows that everything that they do leaks. And so because they know everything leaks, they figure they'll get out ahead of it early enough to just own it and just pre-announce the products before they get a chance to leak. Like, why else would they announce the Pixel 7 Pro now? They just got done saying the Pixel 6 was the best-selling Pixel ever. It sold more than the Pixel 4 and Pixel 5 combined in the same amount of time.
That's crazy.
But also, here's the Pixel 7. It's not coming till fall.
What's crazy is that you would think the hype over time would help them, because there's like an extra media cycle every couple weeks when someone comes up with a new leak.
The hype helps them to an extent, but it kills the current thing, doesn't it?
I don't think so.
If I see
the current device they're selling?
Yeah, like today I want to buy a Pixel. I was thinking about getting a new phone. I was thinking about maybe getting a Pixel, and Google just got on stage and said, coming this fall, Pixel 7, next generation Tensor, updated this, that, and the other. Well,
I
now
probably
I
wouldn't
don't
buy a Pixel 6.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think if you were expecting a 7 to come out at the same time, everything they said is what you would expect out of the new one. Maybe you get to see the designs a little different. I don't think it would sacrifice sales on the 6 at all, because if you are at this point right now, you've probably made the decision of the 6 or made the decision you're waiting till the 7, knowing it's going to have an updated chip, knowing, you know, it's going to have some little updates. I mean, you got to see the design. Maybe if you hated the design for the 6 and you saw it's super similar, we're talking about that later, but like, I don't think it's sacrifices.
Here's a minor
sales.
theory. There's like a sales curve on every phone, right? You sell a ton at launch.
Spike.
You maybe sell a few more 1 or 2 months in when you have some sort of sale or when you have a little bit more media attention. Eventually, the sales just start to slump. So now they release Pixel 6a. And they announced Pixel 7 at the same time. So it's like, okay, well, now the phone's cheaper. So if you can't afford the Pixel 7 or 7 Pro, you get the 6a. And then if you're going to be buying the more expensive phone, you'll probably wait for the Pixel 7. Like maybe they just, at this point, were like, we sold most of the Pixel 6s that we're going to sell.
Fair, yeah.
You know?
They sold what they're going to sell.
The only difference would be like, oh, actually not Christmas, because that will be a Pixel 7. Yeah, so yeah, they're sold what they're going to sell.
I think you're right. Getting ahead of the leak,
Yeah, something like that.
I mean,
you want to just go through them one by one?
Sure.
Reactions. I have many thoughts on each of them, actually. So let's just start with the stuff that's next up.
Okay.
Pixel 6a is the easiest one because it is a smartphone, and we know what smartphones are. $449 Pixel 6a. From what I can tell, and this is a good thing, it's very similar to Pixel 6, which was already a great value at $599. The main differences are going to be the display and the cameras. So the design, the materials are very similar. It's got the camera bar, it's got the glass and everything, recycled aluminum frame. But the display is now a 6.1-inch, 60 hertz OLED. So it's the smallest pixel at 6.1 inches, and it's at 60 hertz, which is, it's a lower refresh rate. There are a lot of 90 hertz refresh rates at this price point, but
battery though.
That's what we're working with. It's 4,400 milliamp hour battery.
So that means probably much better battery life.
I'm
Smaller
thinking
screen, 60 hertz.
I'm thinking really good battery life.
Yeah.
We got to test that and see. It's 128 gigs of storage and 6 gigs of RAM. It has 5G. But then the one other thing that's different is the cameras. So here's what they've told us is that these cameras are one of the cost savings from Pixel 6.
Yep.
Pixel 6 had all these new cameras, the high resolution, bigger sensors. But when you look at the spec sheet, it's actually the IMX 636 from the Pixel 4 that we already know is pretty good.
Yeah.
So yes, it is a cheaper camera, but it is probably still quite a decent camera.
Yeah.
So it's it's a 12 megapixel primary and a 12 megapixel ultra wide. And we'll see how those turn out to be. But that for $449 seems like a pretty good phone.
Yeah. Those cameras also get all the Tensor features as well, like face unblur, magic eraser, night sight, real time.
Yeah.
It's still a flagship chip.
Those aren't camera based though, because you can do those.
Yeah,
photos
just
too,
saying
so
it's an old camera, but you're still getting all the new stuff. So like, it's not exactly like you're just using a Pixel 4. Like,
So they're also cutting wireless charging.
Right.
Which is annoying to me because that's something that they always cut to make a cheaper model, and it doesn't cost them a lot to add it, but it's just one of those things where they can say the premium phone has wireless charging, the cheaper one doesn't. As far as the cameras go, I mean, they added those new cameras in Pixel 6, but the processing was like the same as it was in every other Pixel. So they were using this great new 50 megapixel sensor that was binning down to 12.5 or whatever.
Yep.
But the images ended up looking the same unless you took raw photos. And if you took raw photos, they were great, but like nobody's doing that, right? So as far as that goes, until they fix the processing, this seems like a pretty good deal. The thing I'm a little bit annoyed at is that Pixel 4a and I believe 3a and 4a were both $349. And that's a price that you're just like, holy crap. $349. Pixel 4a at $349, I think was one of the best value phones ever.
Then they had to add 5G though.
Yeah, so when they did the 4a 5G was around was around $450, and then the 5a with 5G is also $550. So now I guess that's just the new price is $550.
That's the new price. It's a budget phone with 5G.
Or $449. $450. Yeah.
So we're gonna have to see. Obviously, these are all pending testing the things, but I figure my biggest dislike is going to be 60 hertz and no wireless charging.
Yeah.
But I think on paper, like having the Tensor chip and enabling like literally the exact same software experience as the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro is going to be kind of a bargain for that price.
And
so
having
I
a
think
smaller phone for people that want smaller device, even though it's 6.1
it's
still 6.1 inches,
smaller.
But it is smaller.
And that sage color looked
Sage
really,
nice.
really good.
Yeah,
Sage
big fan.
Nice. I hope that Tensor is a little worked out at this point, because it was still between Tensor and Android 12. It was a pretty buggy experience for a lot of users. So I'm hoping that maybe at this point it's a little more stable. I just remember the Pixel 5 was incredibly stable with a mid-range Qualcomm chip.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that with Tensor, it's just been worked out at this point. That'd be nice.
They've had a couple months.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Also, downgrade 6 gigs of RAM versus 8 gigs in
Pixel 6. Okay, 6 gigs of RAM, 128. I think that's the only spec.
Yes, I believe so.
There you go.
Yeah. So
Pixel 6a.
I like the camera cutouts in it. It's like this little oval that's cut out in the camera bar. I think it looks kind of cool. It's slightly different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get more on that design when we get to Pixel 7. But the other thing that's coming out around this time, also it just hit me that like maybe, does this 6A launch with Android 13? Is that why it's delayed?
No.
Is it
Because
still
Android 13 comes out in... I think they only said that Pixel 7 was launching with
It was
Android
kind of
13.
confusing because he kind of threw it in at the end. Like
It's
products
always
will
the
be shipped
flagship that launches with the new OS.
Yeah, I
think
because
that's probably
final Android version is usually like August, September.
Okay,
And
so
then
this is
October is when the first device comes
still
out.
going to
with
launch with 12. Okay.
Yeah.
So the other thing launching in July is the Pixel Buds Pro. These are $199 noise-canceling wireless earbuds from Google. So we already knew about Pixel Buds. Those are $179 when they launched. They're not really on Google's store anymore, and they only really seem to really seem to show us Pixel Buds A series, which is their $99 pair of less expensive earbuds. So that's cool. But we do have Pixel Buds Pro now coming in at $199. They have multi-device connectivity. They have transparency mode. They have a 6-core audio chip in each bud, and there's several microphones on each, so that should help with noise cancellation. There's some really cool features where they can sort of improve a semi-perfect seal with like extra sound waves that'll help you cancel noise. It was kind of cool, the animation that they played. So that'd be cool to see how well it goes. IPX4 sweat and water resistance, and there's actually a touch control on the side of the bud like you'd expect. So you can get the Google Assistant or play, pause your music and stuff like that. They look pretty good. Same case.
Swipe.
I like the case.
Forward and backwards for volume up and down. I thought that was weird.
Yeah, it's weird.
I don't like it.
You might be able to change it in the app though.
My guess is it has 2 openings on the top and bottom for, I think, the noise canceling microphones. And
so
I think that's why you can't go up and down. Yeah.
Bummer.
So yeah.
That minor detail, but it just felt
that is kind of a quirk. Yeah. The case will get you up to 31 hours of battery, but just the buds themselves will get 7 hours of listening with noise cancellation or 11 hours of listening without noise cancellation. That's pretty solid. And then a 5-minute charge in the case can give you an hour of listening with noise cancellation. So solid overall specs. Again, most of these earbuds to me depend on like 2 major things. How do they fit comfort-wise? Do they fit in my ears or not? And how do they sound?
Yeah.
It's kind of it for
Some
me.
of the videos of it looked like they were sticking pretty far out of people's ears. And that is I've said it many times, my biggest gripe with truly wireless earphones are horizontally coming out of your ear.
These don't have a wingtip. These don't have any extra like fitment to fit in your ears better.
They're like thicker though. They're more like a bean a little bit.
They kind of remind me of not the Buds Live, but okay, they're not as big as Sony's WF-1000 XM4s. Those are the huge ones. But they are bigger than the Beats. They are bigger than AirPods. Studio Beats.
Studio Buds, right?
Studio Beats. Beats Studio Buds. Studio Buds. Yeah, it's bigger than those.
Yeah, because we're all Studio Buds.
Right, exactly. That's how you remember. But, how is that going to fit in my ear? Am I going to go for a jog and it's going to fall out? That's my primary concern. What I like earbuds for. So
yeah, I've been looking for earbuds that work for me for like every activity that I do for a while. And funny enough, like the OnePlus Buds Pro ended up being the ones that work well for me because they don't go super deep in my ear to create this like weird seal. So every time I hit the ground, it creates this weird pressure bump. And then there's 2 points of contact because like the stem sort of touches the other side of my ear.
I like the stem design so much.
I like the stem design a lot. I like understand why Apple went for this with the Pros now.
I'm a wingtip diehard.
The stem sits so nicely in your ear.
What were those earbuds that came out? Oh, this was like 2014, and everyone was buying these. Jaybirds. Jaybird X2s.
I still use my X4s.
X4s?
Like those things.
Everyone bought those.
They don't sound the best anymore. They don't have any noise cancellation or anything, but they're water resistant and they do not come out of my ears.
Yeah.
And that's like if I'm biking, if I'm doing anything where I need them to stay in, they're the ones I trust the most to stay in. The Studio Buds have kind of like a wingy shape and they help a little bit, but I didn't know the stem.
Different ear shapes.
Everyone's got different ears. Google said so.
Yeah, they did.
And that didn't show how they're going to fix that, really.
I am interested. They said that there's I think a 6-core processor in it that has Google designed algorithms or something that's supposed to understand your ear shape and create a seal and whatever. I want to see what that amounts to. I think we've seen a lot of presentations that have always said like, we've created our own algorithm that does this and then it does nothing.
Yeah, the benchmark is Sony's WF-1000 XM4. I'm trying to see how much they cost just so I can get those cost $279.
Yeah, and this is $199.
I'm not going to expect them to match the Sonys in sound.
The Pixel Buds 1 sounded pretty good. I know they weren't the Sonys. In
they didn't have the ANC. The Sonys are they just sound so good.
Sonys also aren't sweat resistant. Correct.
Right. They're these big bulbous things that like hang out of your ears. If you like shake your head,
they got smaller and they're still huge.
They're still huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna expect them to be somewhere between Studio Buds or Samsung's like Buds Live or something.
Yeah.
And Sony's I can't keep saying this name. WF-1000 XM4.
WF-1000X Mark IV, right?
Yes. Just have Adam record you saying it once and you can just superimpose it into...
I really do like the W.
The button. And then there's the one other thing they said that they, I think Andrew mentioned this slightly, but like they're using some sort of like alternate sound wave to create some like seal in your ear. Like that is... weird. I really am interested in trying that.
It reminds me of, not sound related, but remember when they said they were going to improve zooming by using like the way your hand swayed and being able to sharpen images through that? It's like, I feel like they always have this weird way of like how the product interacts with the body and how that is going to
that
create
actually works really well though. the camera thing.
It worked well, but it was still a zoomed in photo.
But that wasn't for zoom, right? That was just
no,
for
it's
HDR.
for zoom.
You're talking about super zoom?
Yeah, it was Pixel 3,
oh,
right?
You're talking about super zoom?
Yeah, where you would zoom super far in the digital zoom.
Well.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I was like, man, you're really critical of photos.
I thought you were talking about HDR.
Okay,
because HDR works the same way, where the gyroscope understands at all times, and so it's able to align the frames a lot better because it knows exactly what orientation it's been in over time.
I guess it's still a similar thing. They're using the way your body reacts to, or it's reacting to your body. I guess.
The super zoom was terrible. Like that did not work.
Super res zoom.
Super res zoom. Yeah, Dolly could do that better.
Oh, Dolly can do a lot of things.
I want to see real quick. I know Adam's somebody who used Pixel Buds a lot.
He still uses them.
Are you excited about these at all?
Absolutely not.
That's what I thought. Okay. Just wanted to get that on tape.
I like the case a lot. It's fun to play with. And
Same case.
Looks like an egg.
I would like if they added some sort of like soft touch finish to the case though, because the current finish is just smooth and it would be nice if they made a little more premium.
I would like that, but then I would be worried this is what it's going to look like in your pocket all the time. The
yellowing of my Pixel book. Yeah.
All right, this clip has been brought to you by Sundar Pichai's jacket collection. Unfortunately, I've been using Google Lens to try to figure out what jacket he's wearing every single time, and it never tells me. So I understand this is a very powerful product. I just need it to work on your own jackets, Google. That's all I ask.
If you know what the jacket is, leave it in the comments.
Please leave it in the comments.
Do they sell them at Everlane?
I don't know what that means.
Why wasn't Sundar at the Met Gala? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
That's a good. Yeah, you could have asked him.
You know, like connecting the dots, like Google,
That's
YouTube,
true.
fashion. I'm just saying.
Yeah. He is a fashion icon.
You're bigger than him in Google's eyes.
I guess so.
You are.
But he is Google.
His jacket's nicer though.
That's very true.
Wow.
Fair.
Let's wrap it up before I get fired.
Please like and subscribe.
See you guys later.
Like and subscribe. Peace.